Alright, before we can get things started here today, I've got to run up in this silo and I actually have to lower the blower pipe down. We've been feeding out of this silo for, let's see, we opened it on Monday. We've been feeding out of it for 5 or 6 days now. And I end up taking 2 doors out, usually once a week. So I'm going to run up in there now and get that done. And my little indicator is on the cable right there. I've got my COVID mask that I'm going to utilize, pair of safety glasses, all the safety attire, and then of course I got my headlamp here, which is just a Olight pocket flashlight here. So usually just clip that to the brim of my hat. So we're going to go up in there, get that lowered down, and we're going to get chopping. Alright, that job is done. Now we just need to move our string down the silo chute here, or down the cable, so that we will know when to take a door out next time. So we had a little rain shower last night, and that limited us as to what time we could start this morning. And being that we were off to a little bit later of a start this morning, that means we're going to have to run a little longer tonight. So that's kind of why I took the doors out of the silo this morning. Usually that's a job I like to save for the end of the day, kind of the last thing you do, and you can go right in, jump right into the shower. So we've had some issues here earlier this morning. After we did get going, we were on to some new seedings, and we were running issues with catching wire and everything else. And now, being that it's towards the end of the day here, this hay has gotten to be too dry. So we've got a lot of dusty stuff going into the trailer there. And another problem that we have is this material is real long, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to change or flip over the shear bar tonight. So I should have changed that shear bar out before we started here, but I thought we could stretch it through. And you can see the material in the trailer there. It's kind of long. I've set the shear bar several times here in between loads, and that's as close as I can get it. The edge must be rounded off, and I've got some of this stuff sneaking through, and it's, you know, a couple 3-4 inches long there, so that's not good. So we've got him about loaded, and we're going to send him on his way. We'll have to run this home tonight, get her blown off, flip that shear bar here in the morning. And we made it to the end of that row. running a little Ford today. Got her just about loaded. Can you wave? Can you wave? Yeah. Well, it is Sunday morning, and here we are working on the chopper. It's just minor, but it all could have been prevented. If you remember in the last video, I questioned this shear bar, and I figured I would be able to stretch it until we go and change the knives, because when you put a new set of knives in, you should have a new cutting surface here. Yesterday was a mongrel. A lot of long hay was getting through, and I should have just flipped this guy over the other day. Now, let me get a light down in here. It's all gummed up right now, but this edge right here is rounded quite a bit, and what it's doing, it's actually not cutting the hay. It is just kind of ripping it, robbing a lot of horsepower, and it's leaving a lot of long hay. So I should have flipped this over the other day, but I was trying to stretch it out. The shear bar here is about $900 if I remember right, and when you go and change the knives and the shear bar, it's right around 2,000 bucks. Because when you change the knives, you end up changing all of the bolts too. It's got 40 knives in this knife drum. So what we're going to do before we go and unbolt this is bolted in 3 spots. You got 1 bolt on each side and then a bolt in the center. I broke that bolt in the center before, and I don't know why, and I thought sure that it was going to be broke this time. There's a little cap that goes on the center right there, and it's got a 20, what would it be? I think they're 20 millimeter bolts, but this had a new shear bar put in it. When Kaz did all the work on it this winter, alright, we've got the mating surface all sanded down. Just little bits of crap gets in there. And you go to flip it over, it might not be a good enough surface. So you're just going to flip it around, set it in there, set our bolts in. This might not be backed up enough. In fact, I don't think it is. That seems like it's right up against the knife, so what we'll have to do is we'll have to make sure we can roll this knife around before we start anything up, because we don't want that hitting. Alright, so we'll get these bolts in there and get them torqued down, and then yeah. So on this, before we go any further, I should have shown you on the back side there, but you can almost see the difference in the material from there down. It actually has a hard surface on it from here up. I should have shown you on that other side there. You can't quite see it. Oh well. But that's rounded pretty good. They always do that right in the center, right where the two knives kind of come together. Whack it there. So, and then we're wore off. You know, we're wore off a good ways there. That one. That one. Center one. I might need a shorter socket. She gets on there. Put this little cap on here. First now I gotta find little bolts. Just go in there. Just kind of covers up that center bolt. Alright, I'm not sure if I have to run this cut bench shear bar forward at all, so we're just going to roll it around by hand. Make sure the knives miss. Okay, they all miss. We're in good shape there. We're just going to close this up. There's that. over made one heck of a difference. We've got a nice consistent length of cut rolling through the chopper here right now. We are currently running at 17 millimeters. That's our length of cut. So what that means is when that crop is coming through, the length of the material is running right at about 17 millimeters, or 11/16. Now, on the chopper, I've got the cutter head screen pulled up here. I don't know if you can see that all that well, but we're thinking maybe you might. In the blue, that part of the screen is where I can adjust my length of cut. If I want to change that length of cut, all it does is it speeds up or slows down the feed rolls. The faster the feed rolls go, the longer the material is going to be coming out through the chopper. The slower the feed rolls go, the shorter the material is going to be. And we want that material, we want it relatively short so that when we pack it in the bunk, we can push all the air we can out of it. However, you don't want it chopped up so fine that it ends up going right through the cow. So running right at that 11/16 to 3/4 of an inch of length seems to be pretty good. You get it too awful long and it just doesn't pack good. So we've got we've got a whole day of chopping here in front of us now. This hay is doing pretty good. We're running right at, what are we? I'll flip the screen over here. Running at 21, roughly 21% protein. We're a little on the dry side. So we got moisture, crude protein, ADF, NDF, and the sugar. That's all on the 2630 display. And that is all read through the harvest lab, which is right there on the chopper neck. So I better get paying attention here. I just sucked a wad right there. Oh, we'll get this chopping done here. Alright, we're just getting started here this morning. I've got the knives all sharp, and now it's going through. It's setting the shear bar. You can just barely hear that shear bar coming into the knives. It's done one side, it's working on to the other. Well, now it's done. This is not going to be too fun of a day on this particular farm here. This is the farm that we are finding all the wire along the outsides of the fields. This used to have beef cattle running on it, and it had a fence that ran around the outside of every field here. So we did quite a bit of hedgerow work here last year before we seeded this down, and through the past bunch of years that old fence has kind of worked its way out into the fields here. So the first cutting on this farm was the worst. Second cutting was gradually getting better as far as what we were finding for metal, which most of it was wire and metal fence posts. Second cutting wasn't as bad, and I'm hoping third cutting is pretty decent. But it is what it is. So we're just kind of waiting for a truck to get here now, and we'll get started. It's supposed to be in the 90s today. I'm gonna have a lot of trips in and out of the chopper today. So we're gonna get started here as soon as the truck gets here. This is the second attempt, and oh, come on. You like searching for metal, Sarah? Huh?
Yeah.
Is it hot in that old truck?
Yes, very.
Yeah. Be nice if we didn't have to stop every time for wire here, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, let me try it again. I don't see anything. I have had pieces get caught in there, which I better check right here. This roll right here is the roll that has the magnet in it. It's a stainless roll, and then that's what shuts the chopper off. I've had little pieces get caught in between there. So let's make a third attempt here. This is what we've gotten so far today. Gauge the cutter head. Turn on the head. Alright, we didn't find anything. Now, what might have happened is the wad that was in there, or the piece of metal that was in there, might have fallen between the feed roll and that little plate that's just in between the feed rolls and the head. Doesn't Sarah look like she is sweating her butt off in that truck? Hear the stones going through the blower pipe that's right in behind us here. I'm not doing the greatest job loading her because I don't have both hands on the operating stick here. Come back a little bit. There we go. Load a little bit in the front. Oh, you can hear them little stones going through. That's why we have to sharpen the knife so frequently. Alright. So, there we go right there. So it's telling us that we have a piece of metal on the feed roll just to the right of center. So we're reversing it. Now we got a pretty good sized wad there. We never did find anything our last trip. Now we just put a little bit of material through. Now we are way over on the left side of the feed roll. Got that reversed. Up the compressor sheet. Now, we'll see if we can find something. Alright, bingo. We can see it right here. So there's the piece of wire right there. See that? Now, sometimes what happens is when we reverse it, being that this roll here is the roll that has the magnet in it that senses the metal coming in. When you reverse the feed roll, sometimes it forces the material down through this gap here, and then you never catch it until next time. So you're loaded. Alright, so we've got that little field there left to do, the rest of this one, then the one, that long strip down there, and then we're hoping to get out of here in the next couple hours. Yeah. it shouldn't only take us about a half hour. So we'll toss that in our bucket and we'll start loading Travis. Now, I'll shut the camera off in a second here, but there's no guarantee that we're not going to get a piece of metal again in this just a short little stretch here. There's 30 foot of a windrow here. Bingo. My goodness. So we didn't go 5 feet. Caught another piece of metal. Probably was joined to that piece that we just picked up. We did search a little bit. Didn't find nothing. Or, you know, we found something, but we didn't find anything more. Found a piece the last time. Didn't find a piece way down the other end. Searched through that little bit that we kicked out. There must be another piece in here. There is. Right there. Now, looking at the ends, you don't see it cut at all, so it's just, it wasn't joined to that other piece. Ain't like the mower cut it, made 2 pieces, but back in we go. All right, 2 pieces in about 10 feet. Here's our gutter head. Turn that on. Lower the compressor sheet. It's a 4-step process. Or 3 or 5. Just to get back going again. It's not too bad if you're in ordinary circumstances where, you know, you catch a piece of metal every, well, I don't know, 50 acres or something. That's one thing, but when you catch a couple of pieces of metal in less than 50 feet, it gets downright frustrating. So we will rejoin you guys, hopefully, if I'm still sane when I get done with this one farm here. So we're just picking up pieces here. All right. We'll join back with you guys in a little while here. Finally, we are on the last windrow. We've only got about 150 yards left to go here. We're going to see if we can't maybe finish this out without tripping the metal detector here. We'll be just about loaded on this one truck here. And it looks like we might just make it without tripping the magnet. Alright, that one's loaded and we are finally, well, we've got a little skipper here to finish pick on. One back here. Alright, now we are done. And we didn't trip the magnet. So we'll send him back, and then we've got a field to do across the road here. It's gonna do her. just getting ready to start the day here. This is actually right where we started from yesterday. Today's going to be a little bit better of a day, I hope. Yesterday was just absolutely miserable with the amount of wire and just metal that we picked up. I chopped 80 acres yesterday in 10 hours. Just miserable. So we're just running this sharpening stone across the knives right now. Tim's over here and we're going to get started. So like I said, today is going to be a better day. Well, that's going to do it, folks. Just getting ready to pull that chopper into the hay barn for the night, and we're going to call her quits. I've got the pail that we've collected all of our crap in, wire and any other metal objects that we pulled out of the head of the chopper. I've got a 55-gallon drum that we've been dumping all that crap into for the last 3 cuttings. And we are probably about halfway through 3rd cutting right now. And once we get done chopping hay this year, we'll share with you what we've collected so far this year. So with that being said, that is going to do it for this video, folks. I want to thank you for watching. We'll catch you at the next one. Well, keep in mind that Olight is having their Elite sale or Elite sale here August 13th to the 17th. I did a review video here the other night, and quite a few of you seemed like you were interested in what they had to offer. And I just wanted to bring it up one more time that they're having their sale, and it runs from August 13th to the 17th. And it's one of their larger sales of the year. I don't know if it's the largest or not. And they call it the Elite sale or Elite sale or something like that. There'll be a link in the description. Go ahead and check them out. I use the, I keep forgetting what this one is called. It's called a i5T EOS and the Seeker 2 Pro. Those are the 2 flashlights that I use on a daily basis. So with that being said, that will do it for this video, and we'll catch you at the next one. Thanks for watching.